Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. Bienvenue, and welcome to HCW Show Squared, the show we take the usual format or formula of the defunct HCW Show podcast and expand to the power of, you guessed it, two. I'm host as always, Dan DP, or also nowadays DPZ, yeah. And I am, of course, joined by another illustrious guest. You may notice it's not Mr. Impact Craig. You may notice it's not Penciled In Nikki. You may notice it's not even Frozzy or Rate Wrestle. I am instead joined by the fifth choice. No, I'm joking. I'm joined, of course, by Scottish resident and Scottish wrestling expert himself, Muzza.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm pretty sure I was more 10th choice, but still, whoa, I'll take the compliment.
I mean, I've got to butter you up somehow, you know.
Yeah.
In reality,
Yeah,
you were probably like the 25th choice.
Oh, there we go. But I'm pretty sure Big Bad John and Lucha DS are further up the list.
Oh no, he was first.
Oh, of course.
What we need,
yes, interesting.
On this show, we just need incomprehensible rambling.
Also known as a Scottish accent.
Yeah. Also, I can say that freely because I know he's not going to watch this show. So
say that
he's not going to watch this show unless you tell him about
it. Nah, don't do it. Well,
how are you?
I'm good. Good. Happy to be here. Going to be interesting. For those who don't know, I've not watched NXT in a while. This is just something I thought, you know what, screw it, I'll give it a go. For reference, of the last NXT episode I watched was the Index wedding episode. So that was a fucking while ago.
Did somebody say Andre Chase?
Did somebody say Andre Chase? No, I did. No one said that.
No one did. And yet he's still a developmental.
It's one of the best segments of the worst era of NXT.
The only wedding to go off without a hitch?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean now it seems like I assume that the divorce because Dexter's busy going in white, busy in white chic.
In the Wyatt Chicks, yeah. The Wyatt Chicks. But no, actually, your homegirls from now is in there too. Nikki Cross from good old Scotland.
Yeah, they need some sort of talent in that squad. I'm kidding.
Hey.
To be fair, you got her, you got my boy Rowan, and that's about it, really. Yeah, he's just Rowan.
Yeah, he's just,
as he said in his video promo.
He's just Rowan, and he's got his pet spider in a cage.
Anyway, getting distracted, but yeah, interesting to see. As I said, this is my first time watching NXT in a while. Mm-hmm. I know it's not the same NXT I used to watch, obviously, back in the day. But I was willing to come in, give it a chance, clean slate, and see what was what.
Mm-hmm. So when was the last time you actively watched NXT? And I don't mean like the one-off episodes. I mean, is there a point in time when you watched it week in, week out?
Near the end of the Black and Gold era, like probably talking like the main feud between Undisputed Era and the Pat McAfee alliance thing that was going on.
I can't remember what they were called. It was like Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Oh fucking hell, man! I forgot about that. That was the death of Black and Gold NXT.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it much on the podcast, so to put it out there, I am an absolute hater of Pat McAfee. I don't see the value in him. He's a glorified NFL guy who came to WWE because I don't know why, probably money, but I find him so uninteresting. He's like a child on commentary. He doesn't even know half the shit that's going on that he sees in front of him. Cole is the only saving grace of that team, and for some reason Cole loves the guy.
To be fair, it gives the most joy. Watching the camera they have of commentate, it looks like Cole's having a blast with them. So at least it's making Michael Cole happy.
Yeah, I guess. But
better than him being monotone, Michael Cole.
Yeah, true. I mean that is very true. Just to say Cole going, do you want me to say what? So say that again. I can't hear you.
Do I have to keep bringing those $9.99 a month?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Yes. I feel bad for him because that's what he heard. He had Vince in his ear the entire time.
I wonder if he still has Triple H. You're gonna need to talk more about WWE Speed.
Remember to promote WWE Speed with Andrade as the world champion. Don't forget to promote the Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov 3-minute match, bro. Fucking 3 minutes. And they still killed it.
Fair enough. I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure they could kill it in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it was... Speed's good for that, though. Because Speed is like the collection of the greatest hits in a short amount of time. So, like, there's no build to the match. There's no King's Road style to this, where, like, you got to sell getting your arm hit or your leg hit because someone's targeting your arm or leg. It's just all out finisher, L1, L1, L1. It's...
Yeah. One of the thing is, like, I 3 minutes is just a random time. Like, I would have preferred just 5 a minute sprint.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's me nitpicking.
Yeah, I think 3 is probably some sort of research thing when they've been like, most viewers who watch the videos on social media only engage for like 3 minutes. Something like that. Or it's a callback to 3-minute warning.
True, very true.
But
3 minutes and we're out of here.
3 minutes around. The clock is ticking. But we have got a show to look at and a show to review. We've been here for about 10 minutes just talking absolute trash, and that is what we can continue doing, which is what I've done with Nikki in the past as well. We just talk about random stuff and go on tangents. Like, the last time you were on this show, we did a whole G1 segment about a show that wasn't the G1.
We're just good at that stuff.
Exactly. But we have got to stay on track somewhat at least. So, we've got to do a swift turn and go back to what we were looking at, and that is NXT. For the 16th of July. And there's nothing, I should say, by the way, because you're new to this, to this show, I mean, I just run through the entire card and what happens, and feel free to stop me if you've got any thoughts or anything you want to add in. But matches, I'll give you a chance to say something. Otherwise, I'll go through interviews or I'll go through backstage segments, whatever. And again, just feel free to cut me off on those. and say what you got to say, if you have anything to say. Okay, so we kick off with a 6-man tag. There's no shenanigans, no bullshit, nothing like that. It's just a straight off match, straight away. It is the Rascals. That's right, TNA's The Rascals. Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, and Wesley taking on the team of Gallus, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang, aka Muzza's favourite because they're from Scotland. So the Rascals win with an elevated double foot stomp from Wesley onto Mark Coffey. I rated it 3.25 stars. For me, it was a good opening match for the show and a great introduction to NXT crowds for the Rascals, who, again, are a TNA-based team, so not many of the NXT crowd will be necessarily aware of who they are and what they can do. And also, the WWE audience who watches NXT. Like, it's a good introduction for them here in this match. It was an all-out kind of match, though, that didn't really have the best start. It was a bit, what's the word? A bit of a slog at the start. But as time went on, they picked it up and they got a good cohesion going. And then there's a spot in the middle of it when they're all knocked out, they're all down, and Vic Joseph mentions about believing. And then Booker T's like, "No, don't say it, Vic." And then Vic's like, "I'm gonna say it, Book. It's Joe Hendry." And then suddenly, just as soon as he does the whole commentary, out comes Joe Hendry. You're not doing the clap.
Joe Hendry.
Oh, is this a bit?
I assumed you knew the.
Oh, right, okay.
Wow. But yeah, sorry. So out comes Joe Hendry. There we go. Who joined the commentary. But the one thing I wanted to bring to as well for this was the fact that he's doing his entrance and there's a fucking ad break during his entrance.
Oh.
Like, I get he's joining commentary, whatever. But he's, like, the biggest crossover star. He's bigger than most of the NXT roster in regards to, like, being over. And he's given the play-by-play advert thing.
He also probably should be TNA champion.
I mean, by the time that this goes out, he probably either will or won't be champion.
Womp womp.
It would be very TNA of them to not give the belt to their most over guy.
It really would, and honestly, I don't think he's winning it. These...
Yeah,
Go on, sorry.
sorry. I thought. Yeah, I watched the match. I thought it was a very good match. I gave it flat 3. Solid opener.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got a chance to shine. Chance to sign. Rascal. I've watched a decent bit of the Rascals, so I know what to expect from them. As you said, I used to be a very big fan of Gallus back in the NXT UK days.
I wonder why.
Well, for some people. and they people said they had I still vividly remember that day, that NXT UK takeover in Blackpool where Mark and Wolfie were tag champs and Joe was challenging Walter for the UK title, and I had full belief that Joe Coffey would win.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only person, well, I probably wasn't the only person, but I was the only person in our group that believed in Joe Coffey. No. I mean,
it is a Joe, so you're halfway there, but...
Yeah. I thought, solid opener. I won't lie that at the start, Booker T kind of got a bit on my nerves on commentary, but I think as the show went on, he kind of plateaued a bit and was fine.
I think with Booker, it's very jarring at first, and I think as time goes on, the more shows you watch, or even this show as it goes on, like, it's just a case of you get used to how over the top he is. And it's like when certain stars come out, I don't think he did it in this show, but he'll always do like the like Like, and someone like when someone like Trick Williams comes out, he'll be like, "Oh, Vic, it's Trick. It's like I don't know. I'm doing the Theodore Long thing, but but no, player. The T Invasion, as I call it, because I thought that's pretty inventive. The T Invasion in NXT is going full steam ahead, with Joe Hendry being involved in this and seemingly staying. At least we think anyway.
Yeah.
After the match, it goes to Joe Hendry again talking, and then we get a recap of what happened in the main event last week, narrated by Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
I wouldn't normally mention this, but that's not a normal thing that happens in NXT. It isn't like one of the wrestlers recaps what happens. Like, this is literally just Joe Hendry talking about Trick Williams having to do a 2-on-1 match because against Ethan Page and Sean Spears because, you know, he had no partner until he believed. And then, you know, out come Joe Hendry with the fucking like but no, I thought that was pretty fun. We go backstage now. Ethan Page is with Ava, complaining about NXT being an unsafe working area. Who would have guessed it? When Oro Mensah...
For that parking lot? Who knew?
Exactly. When Oro Mensah busts into the room, ultimately results in Oro Mensah having to get pulled away by security. Cool. In ring, we get another fucking awful promo by Roxanne Perez, who wants respect, and she name drops Julia and Stephanie Vakir as potential new challengers, and she'll welcome the challenge and is confident that she'll win, while imitating AJ Lee the entire time, and imitating AJ Lee. I don't know what it is. She turned heel fairly recently, about a few months ago, and she's great in the ring. That's not Roxanne's issue. Roxanne's issue is on the mic, and I think she's trying to channel AJ Lee a bit too much in her promos because it comes across as unoriginal. It's sort of like, and you know, I might get a bit of slack for this. It's sort of like LA Knight when he does his shtick, because it's very similar to The Rock. Except it's just a 47-year-old man doing it.
Yeah, obviously, you know, first time watching it, obviously this is my first time seeing Roxanne Perez just do a segment.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I thought the promo was okay. And now that you're mentioning it, I can kind of see the AJB similarities. It is a box standard promo though.
Yeah. But that's not all, because in comes Thea Hale, who is the absolute saving fucking grace of this promo. She talks about overcoming all kinds of challenges from all kinds of people, and she wants to rewrite history. She wants to rewrite the history books, and you know, take the title from Roxanne because she has that shot coming up. Roxanne retorts by mentioning that members of Chase U are throwing in the towel and giving up, and encourages Thea to do the exact same thing. A fight then breaks out, and Thea does manage to get Roxanne in a Kimura lock, and Roxanne does tap. Obviously, it's because, you know, not in a match, tap, let me go, etc. Nothing at stake except my arm. But, you know, Roxanne tapping there, is that a sign? Could Thea become the new women's champion? I'm asking you, Muzza.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm. But no, I think Thea Hale was the absolute best part of this promo. She came across really well, and she's not done a promo for a little bit. I think since the Jessie Jane scenario, where she was turned on by Jessie Jane. But she's really improved promo-wise. I don't know who she's been talking to, but this is a really good face promo she did.
Well, she's obviously learning off of the greatness of Chase University.
Of course, there's lessons clearly in the curriculum for promos.
Yes.
We get now into a backstage interview with Kalani Jordan. Kalani mentions that she's ready for whatever challenges come up next. In comes Wendy Chu to look at the title, her women's North American title, for a little bit. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
We get another interview after this. This time with Lola Vice, the future of women's wrestling, who says that at the PLE, she tried and ultimately failed to win the women's title from Roxanne. It just wasn't enough. But next time, she'll get the win. In come JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix, who I now sort of dub as Toxic Attraction 2.0, who mock Lola and tell her to go back to MMA. Fallon says a line about them not liking rookies, when Lola rightfully points out that Jasmine Nix is a rookie. But then Jason says, she's cool though, because she's with us. And then Jasmine pops up with, yeah, because I'm the exception.
The exception, Jasmine Nix.
That should be her, like, her moniker, you know, like her nickname.
Yeah. Exception.
The exception. I think that's actually pretty good.
Perfect.
So after that, it is time for another match. It is time for bouncy Javon Evans taking on Brooks Jensen. How familiar are you with either of these guys?
So, I have heard a lot about Javon Evans, mainly first hearing him off of DPW, and then he's made the transition to NXT, and it sounds like he's a very young up-and-coming talent. He's recently been in the main event scene. And as for Brooks Jensen, I knew he was in a tag team with Briggs, and that recently he's been doing this. He's gone rogue essentially. I was gonna say a wannabe scapegoat, but that's just me.
Actually, no, I can see the comparison. Actually, he does look kind of similar to Jack Perry. So Brooks Jensen, as you said, was part of the tag team with Josh Briggs, and they were also with Fallon Henley, who's now with JC and Jasmine. But the three of them were like this stable, literally like a farmhand stable, sort of group who all raised by themselves, and they lived off the land because they had farms and stuff like that. And they grew up in farming areas and all that. But they were a tag team through that and a group through that, and eventually a few months ago they broke up because Briggs wanted to go on a solo path, which left Brooks essentially forced to do the same, and Fallon to find her own way as well. Briggs had a few matches for the North American title and stuff like that when he was heavily involved with Dijak and OFME and them lot. Hey, remember Dijak?
Yeah. Where's he now?
He's in Coventry for Rev Pro soon. He's fighting Michael Oku. That'll be a fantastic match.
He'll be around ratioing the people of Coventry.
Yes. Be like, you 5 likes, you 12 likes, me 20,000 likes. Ratio.
I just assume that is his gimmick.
Yeah. But no, so Brooks Jensen has undergone a sort of mental lapse, I guess is the right word for it, where he's not really sure what he's doing with his career anymore, because he's got no direction, no purpose, because he ain't got his team anymore, and he feels a bit lost in the shuffle, which has resulted in him turning a bit cuckoo. He's been getting involved. I don't know if you saw it on the video packages, but he's been like getting involved in matches that have nothing to do with him. He's been like invading the shows essentially. At one point, he tried to beat up Vic Joseph. I don't know why. But
Yeah,
no,
like,
that's bullshit.
why?
So,
Well, yeah. So, wasn't sure if you were going to keep talking or not, but yeah.
just awkward silence.
What's the? Yeah, our favourite. Yeah. What's the match? I thought it was overall. It was a decent match. I did give it a. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was a very quick TV match. It was obviously Javon Evans beats Brooke Jensen. I thought it was a smart right choice. Javon gets a win, keeping his momentum going. Well, as said, Jensen just seems to be going more and more off the rails. I will say there was one good spot with Javon essentially jumping from the floor to the bottom rope to hit a moonsault, and it's just wow. He is very talented.
In fact, you could say Javon is pretty bouncy. That's his.
Yeah,
that's
you're
his
very
thing.
much good.
That's his thing. Yeah.
That's his thing. Yeah.
So yeah, as you said, Javon won. He won with the Super Oz Cutter. I don't know what he calls it, personally. I rated the match 3 stars. I don't think the end result was ever in doubt. However, I'm quite impressed with Brooks' moveset because it's changed a fair bit. Including a goddamn Rob Van Dam spinning leg drop from the apron to the announce table. And it was something that I didn't see happening. He just stood on the apron while Javon was on the announce table, and I was like, okay, so what's he gonna do from there? And he fucking just jumps doing the fucking leg drop thing. And I thought, holy shit, yeah! I haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah. I did also notice in the match, Sean Spears came out near the end.
Yeah.
Which, of course, distracted Briggs, which in turn distracted Jensen.
Yep.
Which in turn led to Javon catching with a tie at the outside and, getting the win.
Mm-hmm.
So, curious to see where that goes.
But yeah, this is Brooks' first official TV match since his suspension and his isolation and whatever. They've done a good job here in showcasing what he can do and that he's not fully there anymore. He's not the same Brooks that he used to be. And Javon's always a great guy to sell offense because that's one of the key things that you try and do here is put over Brooks, and that is what Javon did here. Even though Javon won, he didn't go unscathed, But post match, exactly as you said, Sean Spears was there. And Brooks essentially attacks Javon, but Briggs pulls him away, shouting that his job's on the line. So there's an interesting little dynamic here we've got with Sean Spears probably recruiting Brooks Jensen. Here we go. Backstage, the family, that's Tony D'Angelo's group, are engaged in a card game in the most openly obvious place you could have a card game or poker game or whatever. Like, they're meant to be like having this illegal card game, but it's in the open in some backstage area or whatever. It's ridiculous. It's the 4 of them.
It's just the APA.
Yeah,
it's the APA card game.
It's just missing a big wooden door that you can walk around. Like.
No, you walk back around and you knock.
Yeah.
all you were missing was that door and some beer. But though they're the family, so maybe it's wine.
Yeah.
Not sure red or white. And so you have variety.
Yeah. But speaking of a bit unhinged people, in comes Charlie Dempsey, who is like, "Hey Don, psst, Don, psst, Don." And,
yes, that's what you do. You go and you just piss at go pss at the Don.
You just piss
But like,
at the Don. How do you get his attention?
That's what I said. There's a clip for the short.
What a weird TV show this is. He's just pissing at the card table.
Oh no. I've gone off the rails like Brooke Jensen.
Charlie reveals that he's found himself in a situation and he needs help. The situation from last week where he and the NQCC were disposing of, Damon Kemp, which was just a unmarked body bag. When Ren Sinclair, who you might remember as Maddie Renkowski from the indie scene, may or may not have seen what Charlie and Miles and Tavian were doing in the parking lot. But Tony refuses to get them involved because it's a woman. A little bit sexist. But hey,
no, there's lines there's certain lines you don't cross in the family, and one of that is killing women.
But he's got a woman.
That's not the Don's way.
The woman in his ranks.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean but he's not gonna kill her. You
ain't got to kill her.
That's the one rule.
You just silence her.
No killing women, no killing children.
Okay, but she's a wrestler. I don't know.
Besides, it's none of the Don's business, as he said.
Yeah, very true. It's not his business.
His problem.
Yeah, very true. Backstage, Dante Chen's here, and he's ready for Ethan Page in an impromptu NXT title match. Okay. I had no idea that this is even happening. They didn't mention it last week, and to my knowledge, they didn't mention it at all this week, until now.
No, they actually did.
Okay.
They actually did. I was going to say, but you never said it. During the Ethan Page and Oral Mensah thing with Ava recommended to Ethan Page, how about you defend the title tonight? And Ethan said, yeah, sure, I'll defend against, and then just thought them as a random wrestler he thought of and said, Dante Chen.
Fair enough. I completely missed that bit.
There you go. That was all you need.
Yeah, fair. Backstage, Trick Williams. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. He's on a phone call with Ilya Dragunov. Trick's having an existential crisis because he's not the champion anymore. Ilya's only real advice here is to just do it, like Nike. Pete Dunne's also in the room, and he offers no help other than to figure it out. So it seems at the moment people aren't so high on Trick, which I wonder why.
Maybe they just ain't whooping that Trick hard enough.
Mm-hmm. At what point does whooping that Trick become a euphemism?
Are you sure it's not already a euphemism?
I mean, it might be.
We're too old for this stuff, and we're in our 20s.
Exactly, yeah. We ain't like whooping our Trick. But no, so for the NXT Championship in the middle of the card, Ethan Page, the champion, taking on Dante Chen. Ethan,
who for the first time of me seeing him, looks like the most generic wrestler I'd make off 2K.
Yeah, he does.
I'm sorry, I feel bad for him saying that, but
it's like if you go like, I don't mean this in any bad way whatsoever. If you went through the character creation suite of a 2K game, and you have the presets, it's like, you can work off this base or this base. Dante Chen has a look that, to me, looks like it'd be a preset in one of the wrestling games.
Yeah.
But not faulting him for it. He makes it work. Ethan wins his match and retains, obviously, with the Ego's Edge, which is that that insane release Razor's Edge. He just has him there and throws him.
Just I'll throw you. You figure it out.
Yeah, you land on your back. Good for you. You land on your head. That's not my fault.
Yeah. Obviously, there was one spot that got a bit of traction on social media. It was Ethan Page hitting a diving shoulder block, and some Twitter fans were going, "Oh my god, that's insane!" And people are like, "It's a diving shoulder block. No one can do that."
Yeah,
it's just that was just funny. But yeah, I gave this flat 2. I thought, it's not a lot to go off. I do like Dante's, as much as we joked about it, I do actually like his look. Could have wished I could have seen a bit more of him. He kind of mainly just did strikes and some roll-ups.
Yeah.
I wanted to see a bit more out of him, and then Ethan was just kind of there. He just kind of absorbed the punishment, hit his finisher, win.
I think, so I rated it 2.25 stars, firstly. It was short, but it was sweet. I'm not normally a fan of matches that are like this, with short length, kind of a squash match. However, with the lack of credibility that Ethan has right now as champion, this helps establish that he's, the world champion, and that he shouldn't be struggling with the likes of Dante Chen, who is, by all intents and purposes, a mid-carder at the moment. They're saying that Dante Chen getting his licks in here, and even a couple of spots with flash pins, etc. like that, it makes him look great. And Dante's over the crowds already, so that accounts for something.
Yeah.
Post-match.
Like I said, I just wish there was a bit more variety in what he'd done, because it was literally just strikes and 4 or 5 roll-ups.
What I would suggest is, if you like what you saw of Dante Chen from this short interaction, is go check out some matches on Level Up, because that's where he has a lot of matches before, and it wasn't that long ago on there, so his moveset's not changed much since then. So I'd recommend that, because he has longer matches on there, and matches they actually wins. So
yeah, fair enough.
And that's something that applies to everyone watching this as well. Actually, if you like what you hear from what we're saying, or if there's someone that you're a fan of and haven't seen much of them, check out the YouTube. Everything is there, and if you can find a way to watch NXT, ultimately this should not be a substitute for you watching the show itself. This is just us talking about the show and not going really into depth what happens. And if you want to see everything that happens, watch NXT. Post-match,
keep watching us.
Yeah, keep watching us. Yeah, sorry, keep watching us. But just have a different tab open, watching it, and then have NXT on the side, ready to go after you finish the video. So post-match, Oro Mensah comes out and tries to attack Ethan, but Ethan's ready for it. Until he wasn't. Oro comes back and just nails it, Ethan with a cartwheel kick in the corner, and he pins Ethan, counting his own pin. Does that mean we got a new champion?
No.
Apparently not. No.
Even Page certainly doesn't think so, but that's later on in the show.
Yeah. Backstage, Gallus are not pleased with Joe Hendry. And want the TNA people to just go back to TNA when they say his name and Hendry is summoned. Hand clap and all. He says that Gallus should have believed more in Joe Hendry and believed more just in general. And Gallus explained that when people think of Scotland, they think of Drew McIntyre and Gallus, and not in a flash in the pan like Hendry. And to that I thought,
I also think of Grado.
I don't know. When I think of Scotland, I think of a failed referendum to leave the UK, and Nicola Sturgeon.
Why do I step? I'm sick as...
Your people put it into action, and your people voted to stay in the UK.
And I say half of those people that voted to stay are probably dead.
Probably true. But no, moving on from that, we got another match. Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. Paxley wins with the Psycho Trap. I rated this 2 stars. This was fine. It had a job, which is what it did. It was also nothing to do with a title match, which is always a good thing to see with TV shows because the variety of matches and the builds to matches. It just shows the kind of depth that a roster has when you can do this sort of thing, where a match has absolutely nothing to do with any sort of title of any kind.
A quick question. So I can tell Tater Paxley's a heel, yes. I got a bit confused over who was the heel in this, because Tater Paxley's character seems to be a crazy woman. Meanwhile, Izzy Dame, she had a spot where she's had in the corner where she pulls, Tater Paxley's body over the pole, and it gets slight heat with the crowd. So I was like, I'm thinking, who's the face in this?
The face by default here would be Tatum.
Really?
Izzy is a bona fide heel. Like, I don't think she's ever been a face except when she debuted. She debuted. Sorry. Like, she appeared as a bodyguard to Kiana James randomly, and she's been a heel since then. And since Kiana went up, she's been sort of dwindling in this limbo, I guess is the right thing for it.
But did show up in TNA.
Yeah, there you go, and lost. But yeah, showed up in TNA. So yeah, Tatum
I gave this 1.75. It was a quick match, but I think quite similar to Ethan versus Dante. I didn't really see much out of this.
Yeah.
Tatum had a couple of decent moves, and I can tell Izzy's still very new.
Yeah, that's valid.
He sort of kept going back to a backbreaker quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I rated 2 stars. Like I said, it was fine, and I appreciate the fact that it just showcased depth in the roster. Post match, Wendy Chukam, who came out earlier, hands Tatum the broken doll body from last week, and Tatum reaches the head to it.
Potential partnership, maybe?
Maybe? I mean, they definitely have similar characters for it.
Yeah.
Backstage, Thea Hale is with Ridge Holland. When the others of Chase U come in, Duke is ready for Oba and claims that Oba is just a man and can be beaten.
It was at this point I realised Thea a bit too much energy. It's like, coming from someone who has ADHD, I feel like she's coked up on Ritalin almost.
She might be. She might just be. Backstage, new signings. Cedric Alexander and Ashante Adonis are talking strategy. Well, Cedric is. Ashante's getting distracted by women. The struggle of all day. He eventually gets sized up by Jakara Jackson, which then prompts Lash Legend to come in and play the role of Big Sister and protect Jakara, and then Ora Mensa comes back and also playing the role of Big Brother, protecting Jakara from Ashanti. Now, Muzza, not to go too much into personal lives and stuff, but as someone who is regularly distracted by women, aka you, how did you feel about this segment essentially being you?
To be fair, there was a short time when I was watching 205 Live and NXT, when 205 Live and NXT were together, and I was a fan of Ashanti Adonis, or as he was known back then as Tootie Miles. So, I think me and him are very similar. We both have our tastes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These distractions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As I worded it, he tries to flirt up every woman that walks past. showing signs of desperacy.
And actively failing with like most of them.
Well, he could have went somewhere with Chikara, but he got blocked by Flash Legend and then Oro.
Yeah. So we move on to the next match of the night, which was between JC Jane and the future of women's wrestling, Lola Vice. Lola wins with the 305, which is the spinning back fist, which is also the same thing that Eddie Kingston does. I rated this 2.25 stars. This was also just a fine match. Lola getting to mix it up with one of the more experienced competitors on the roster was always going to be a good thing for her, and just a good thing in general. But the short match here was like 3 minutes. Was always going to be a bit of a detriment.
Yeah, like I have it same rating as I had for Izzy and Tatum. Like 1.75. I kind of half expect they did talk about it. How Lola said, "Oh, face you, JC," in the backstage promo, which I assumed was, this is going to be a decent match for next week. Oh no, it's today, and it's already over.
Yeah,
I kind of expected it to go a bit longer.
Yeah. So, I mean,
like the only 2 women's matches on the card, they both go under 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
so it's a case of like, I know you've not watched NXT in a while, but I mentioned this on this show quite a lot with Craig. How not even just women's matches in general, it's all matches really. How you'll have 1 or 2 matches that are like near 10 minutes, and then on your 6-7 match card, the rest of them are like 3 minutes long or shorter, which it works in some cases, but most of the time it just ruins it because it's going to be a squash match of some kind. Like, unless the story calls for a short match or like a flash win or something like that.
yeah, I think the post match does help it a bit because it's like, okay, you're clearly setting up something, but it just beforehand it seemed like, okay, this was maybe going to be maybe not a long match, but maybe would have been given an extra 2-3 minutes maybe because
Yeah.
From what I know, JC Jane, she's been in NXT a while. I assume she's, not obviously not a main eventer, but she's in the mid card. In the mid card, and obviously Lola Vice coming off a title match, you'd expect it to be a bit long. Not necessarily a squash, but definitely something like I assumed it would have went maybe 6-7 minutes, and maybe that could have helped make it a bit better. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't really fully understand, to be honest. But actually, post match, Fallon attacks her, as does JC and Jasmine. They beat her down until the cavalry arrives. It's Sol Ruka and Carmen Petrovic. My voice is going a little bit funny now. I don't know why. Carmen Petrovic. And that's setting up some sort of 6-person tag team match in the future. I'm assuming next week. But backstage, Muzza is busy, but I'll continue talking. Backstage, Kalani Jordan runs into Tatum Paxley, who wants to play, but Kalani says that they're both too old to be playing with dolls. Tatum then pulls another doll from somewhere. I don't know why. I don't know what the relevance was. There was another doll, like Barbie doll. I don't know entirely what it was. Wearing some sort of floral jacket. I don't know what the reference was to that. If there was a reference, I don't know. But
I assumed it was meant to be Kalani. The doll was meant to be Kalani.
And that's what I thought too. But I don't know who. I don't know if she's wearing flowery shirts and stuff. And then my first thought was Sol Ruka, maybe, because Kalani's like best friends with her. But
maybe
obviously Sol Ruka's involved with the other thing. So I don't know. Backstage still, Ethan Page is leaving the arena when he's harassed by some kind of interviewer or something. But he insists that nothing is bothering him. Although it didn't pin him, he didn't. No, that didn't happen whatsoever. It's not bothering him whatsoever. Stop asking about it. It ain't bothering him. Leave him alone. So yeah, it didn't happen according to him. And if the champ's saying it didn't happen, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Moving on now, back to the ring. It's time for a 6-person tag match. OTM out the mud. Bronco Nima, Lucian Price, and Jada Parker taking on the OC. Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Mishin. The OC.
Hold on a minute. I believe you mean 2012 G1 Climax finalist Carl Anderson.
The OC win with a magic killer on Bronco Nima. I rated this 2.5 stars. You probably could guess here, but for me, a little I'm still not sure why I'm supposed to be invested in this seemingly throwaway feud. Sure, it has Jada and Mishin in it, sure. But it also has Bronco Lucian and Carl Luke. It was always going to be a limited match, and that's exactly what we were given. For me.
That was okay. I gave it 2.25. It was not a sort of a quick match. I will say there was someone that did kind of impress me at the start. It was Lucian with his showing off his power, just being able to lift Gallows like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it's a bit of a more of veterans versus prospects. But yeah, I think outside of Lucian impressing me and Gallows existing, I was definitely more impressed with the women's side than the men's side.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the main point here of this as well. Like, Jada and Mishin have been getting at each other's throats lately, and I think Jada has an aspiring future, and Mishin is also really good. It's just they're both separately carrying their own factions. Like, AJ Styles has fucked off to Japan to fight Marufuji. He's fought Marufuji. And so he's left Anderson and Gallows with Mishin. And on the other side, you've got Jada Parker trying to elevate these two guys who can't do much, really. Lucian is the better one of the two of them, but Jada's still the standout out of the three of them. Backstage, the No Quarter Catch crew, the NQCC, are approached by Ren Sinclair, who wants to be a part of the NQCC in exchange for her silence of what she saw. But the NQCC don't want her to be part of it. Any thoughts?
Well, they don't want her to spill the beans, but they don't want her to join the group. Seems like a bit of a crossroads.
Mm-hmm. Adrenaline.
Maybe she'll have a match to prove herself.
Oh.
Something, Cody.
So yeah, that probably is what's going to happen, but we'll see. After that, we go somewhere. I don't know where we go. It's Eddie Thorpe, formerly known as Carl Fredericks, who's hosting a DJ set somewhere, and he's interrupted by Alexis King, who's formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr. And a fight breaks out between them at the DJ set. Cool.
Yeah.
How
dare you touch his discs?
This is legitimately like them giving me stuff, and I'm like the kid with the avocado, the meme. And he's like, an avocado, thanks. Like, this is how it is for me.
From what I hear, this is just it. Lexus King just comes in, annoys someone. Wait.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like, they're like, here's Eddie Thorpe and Lexus King, and I'm like, Thanks.
A real Forbidden Door-esque match.
Oh, God. Like, I don't want to shit on it, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to shit on it. I've got nothing against either of them. They're doing work and they're getting paid for it. Go earn that money. But Eddie Thorpe is boring. Lexus King is boring. And you put them together in a feud to try and bring up the boredom by pretending Eddie Thorpe can do DJ sets.
Well, could be worse. They could try and pair them up.
Can they coexist? But no.
Yeah, at least we'll enjoy that next week.
I have very little hopes. Very, very low hopes for that match happening.
Well, it's not like they're both decent enough workers, so hopefully they can turn you around, maybe.
You've clearly never seen an Lexus King match in NXT, I mean.
That is true. I have only seen him in AEW. And even then, he was in a tag team.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen any Eddie Thorpe matches in NXT?
I've told you I don't watch NXT, so no.
So you can't.
What has he been doing in NXT?
You can't base your knowledge of Eddie Thorpe as his time from New Japan when he was Carl Fredericks, or his time in New Japan Strong as Carl Fredericks. He's not Carl Fredericks anymore. He is Eddie Thorpe, who has been this. I don't know the word for it. Like this guy who was trying to get in touch with his ancestors and stuff, and he's in connection, his soul with the land and the earth. He's not a hippie or anything like that, but I can't think of the word for it.
Why when you bring this up, I image Tatanka. That's a Tonka gimmick, a Native American gimmick.
Thank you. That's Native American. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, it's more or less like Tatanka.
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
There you go. There's an OSW reference. Love it.
So yeah, move on now to the main event for the men's North American Championship. Champion Obafemi. Okay. Taking on.
Was that a bit?
Well, no, it's just Obafemi.
I didn't know there was a bit with Obafemi.
Did you watch his entrance? Obafemi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can.
So he comes out, and everyone's going like, huh.
Right. Fair enough. It's time to let the big meaty boys slap their meat.
It's time to let the big meat boys slap their meat around and slap each other in the face with the meat. Throughout the course of this show, they've been hyping it up as Duke could be the guy to finally beat Obafemi. So the question is, can Duke do it? Well, the short answer is no, as Obafemi wins and retains with the fall from grace pop-up powerbomb. But I did rate the match 3.5 stars. The long answer for this is that despite how close Duke was, the result was never really in doubt. Oba has been an unstoppable monster, a beast of a man, who decimates all challengers who come before him. So why would this be any different? This was a really good match, though, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thoroughly enjoyed seeing this and seeing Duke in a different light, because he's been shown in tag settings for so long now. Like, he has the occasional singles match, and that's it. So it's nice to see him getting a little bit of a singles push here, even though he lost. And I'm assuming he's going to go back to being the tag guy. But I don't know. I quite enjoyed it.
I'm a bit indifferent. Like I didn't say I did. I rated this 2 3/4. Bit of a difference. Mm-hmm. No, I said a decent TV main event. I can, as I said, first time seeing a full Obafemi match. I can tell there's an aura, there's potential. got the physique.
Huh.
But in this, this just seems like brain rot. Oh. I've ruined it now. That's what I'm gonna. Yeah. Honestly, in this match, the person that stood out to me was a Juk, more so than Obafemi. Like, but both of them had power moves, but like Juk really impressed me in this match. For a guy his size pulling out a Hurricane Run out of nowhere. For a guy his size, is like, oh, Christ. And you can tell again. The only thing that did sort of distract me is Thea Hall screaming during the match.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the only thing I could hear at one point. But yeah, I thought it was a decent main event. I think the result was never in question. Obafemi is he's had what? He's not even had a year's worth of. I don't know how much ring experience he has. I'm assuming it's not much.
So he, I believe, was a former NFL guy, or at least a former college football guy. And he was on. He's been with WWE for a few years now, but he was in Level Up for a while. So if you want to see Obafemi and Level Up, it's right there. But yeah, other than that, he's not new, I'd say. He's definitely got at least a year under him. And he's been killing it, in my opinion. He's absolutely been destroying the scene and mastering
it just feel
the
like
scene.
Yeah, it does feel like at least in this year, he's kind of came out of. For me, he's like, he's came out of nowhere, and everyone's just saying, "Oh, this big guy." He's like the first thing that came to mind. He was kind of like a Monty Brown, sort of like aura around him, except taller and bigger. And the only stuff I had seen from Obafemi at the time before this match was a highlight of his threat match with Dijak and Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes from here, because it's clear I'll be curious to see where they go with him from here. If he's gonna maybe be skyrocketed straight to the main roster. I don't think that's maybe the best choice, but it depends on how long he's holding this belt for, which could be a year-long reign. Who knows?
Yeah, precisely, and it could be like the longest reign known currently with Long World title that he holds it for. Yeah, I think I agree. Main roster's not the right thing for him right now, but saying that, I would kill to see Obafemi and Gunter. And just serve that.
Obafemi Sheamus.
Yeah. Him and Drew. Him and Ilya. Like, just serve.
Obafemi Akira Tozawa.
Just serve all those to me on a platter. Just.
Hey, yeah. No, I do not have Akira Tozawa slander in my way. You want a guy to make Obafemi look like $1 million? Tozawa's your guy.
Chad Gable. Sami Zayn. Adam Cole. MJF.
In the company.
Will Ospreay.
Are you saying he's getting released?
Put him in AEW. Kazuchika Okada and Obafemi.
What the fuck was that?
Fucking Swerve Strickland against Obafemi.
Dear.
But no.
Obafemi versus Claudio. Obafemi versus Hunter Samson.
No. What are you doing?
Hey, I'm bringing up people of equalness to the people you've said.
You're saying that, again, no offense to Hunter, but Hunter Samson is on the same level as Kazuchika Okada.
Yes.
Now say it with straight face.
Next segment, we see Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs arguing as they enter the deadly parking lot.
No, what are you doing? This is my show.
I have to move on.
I can't remember what I'm gonna say now. Oh yeah. So something I mentioned a few weeks ago, and you might get this more than what they did. I think Obafemi is what Vince wanted from Omos when he signed Omos. And not, Giant Ninja.
Obafemi versus Omos. There we go. We've cracked it. In WrestleMania. The voices.
You think you're special?
You do.
Oh.
Oh, man. Obafemi versus Omos will feed generations.
Literally it will. Because they're both exceedingly big men.
Yes. In different varieties. One is tall, one is big.
But the question is,
Right.
how tall is Omos? Because is he taller than Tula Tonga?
Oh, you alleged Tonga. But I don't know. Is Tonga 7 feet tall? As Big Cass says, you can't teach that.
That is very true. You can't. Very true. And as we all know, he is a branch of the learning tree. He's Redwood.
The teaching moment. Yeah.
It's a teachable moment.
Open the forbidden door. Andre Chase versus Chris Jericho.
Oh.
Teacher versus teacher.
I would so unironically love that match.
Just the segments alone.
Yeah, literally, it really is. But as I said,
Yes.
the last segment of the show, Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen are arguing as they're leaving the building. They pass a few people. They pass Nathan Frazier and Axiom talking with the Rascals. They pass Trick Williams arguing with a referee. And they also pass the NQCC, who are approached yet again by Ren Sinclair. Of course, though, this is all off audio, so you can only hear Briggs and Jensen. Jensen wants a no DQ match next week with Briggs, but Briggs doesn't answer. And in the back of my head,
Probably gonna get it anyway.
yeah, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is when they're gonna do it. Sean Spears will officially recruit Brooks Jensen.
The chairman needs a chair underling.
He needs
Oh no, is he still the Is he still the chairman?
kind of, but not really.
Oh, they don't call him by that.
Not really, no. I think they have once, twice, but not a lot. Yeah, but no. So the chairman does need his vice chair, and that's all I had really for that. And that was the end of the show. For your first NXT in about 3 or 4 years, how was it?
Yeah. I admitted when it first started, the rebirth, with 2.0, I thought it wasn't for me.
Mm.
Outside of the greatest feud that ever lived between Nikita Lyons and Lash Legend,
No.
but that's just...
No. Why must you bring that into this channel?
Look,
Like
Moments in history.
I will admit, Lash Legend has improved since then. Nikita Lyons.
Has Nikki?
No, because she's been injured. It's not her fault, but she's been injured, so she's not been on TV to actually improve. Like, fuck me, that was a horrible experience to sit through.
Imagine, I'd love to have seen if Show Squared existed back then and you had to review that feud. I'd imagine you'd have lost your mind.
Like, that feud is probably the closest I'd ever get to being Jim Cornette. Like, I would be effing and blinding the entire time. Because, you know, back then, there was no reason for these two to be on TV.
They were big, muscular women.
That means nothing to me. Like, I don't care how they look. You know? Like, I care about what they can do in the ring. But yeah, that was the end of the show.
You asked me about how it was for the first time watching NXT. It was okay. I thought, you know, I still don't think NXT is my kind of thing. But, you know, I will say it's probably the show I would watch while doing something else. I don't mean that in a disrespect. It's the fact I'd say I'd be willing to watch it again is an approval from me.
Oh, sorry. I thought you could continue talking.
No, that was me.
But no, I agree. This wasn't a particularly strong show. But then again, obviously, I'm watching NXT week in, week out. So for me, it's not like me dipping in to see one show. It's like another show to add to the list of shows that I've watched. This was fine. It was highlighted by a good opener and a good main event. But again, not much is being built to, particularly. You got Roxanne Perez and Thea Hale. That's something for the future, potentially. The 6-woman tag match.
Between Joe Hendry.
Yeah, Joe Hendry and Joe Coffey, or Gallus.
Yep.
The Rascals against someone. I don't know who.
Eddie Thorpe and Lexus King.
Yeah. These are all the greats.
Mencha versus Ashanti Adonis, of course.
Yeah. And I'm assuming we're also going to be getting Ethan Page against Ora Mensah, probably at the PLE.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was NXT, and that does bring an end to this show. I once again must thank Muzza for coming on. His Twitter is just there beneath his camera. You can't really see much of Muzza. He's just right now. He's just a floating head, which I've just realised. The way you're sitting, the name bar is covering most of your body, so you're just a talking head.
He's caught me in here, and he's not letting me out.
What?
Not until I've forgiven for my sins of bringing up Nikita Lyons and Last Legend.
Look, all I'm gonna say is, you know, no water privileges until you apologise profusely. Anyway, so yeah,
you're getting away from Pro 2.
Go give Muzza a follow on his Twitter, which is just underneath his camera. If you're also inclined, I'm also on Twitter, which is just Dupreezy, just there. And for the show itself, there's our outlets. So our Instagram is there. There it is. Instagram's there. Facebook's there. Twitter or X is there, and our Twitch. Twitch is going to be a thing coming soon, hopefully. I've got to find the right time and the right schedule for that sort of thing to make it a regular thing. I've got a few games now that I want to do on stream that I'm waiting to not play because I want to do it on stream. But other than that, that is what Twitch is going to be going forward, just gaming stuff, because that's what it should be ultimately. And maybe the odd live watching or whatever. In regards to the video though as well, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and comment. Do you want to see any more shows covered in Show Squared rather than just NXT? NXT is the one going forward, but I can always change it up to a TNA or some other weekly show that I can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to see anything different, and I can see what I can do. Going forward, the channel is going to be getting more stuff, so hopefully we'll see more of that. I've got to just work it out because it's just me now, like as the main host per se. But yeah, that does bring it into the show. I've been Dan. This has been Muzza, and I'll bid you adieu.